So I have Omer Khan with me, who's the co-founder and CEO of PostEx, and again we are here with another episode of Startup Story. So let's hear about the story of PostEx and how Omer is taking it forward. So welcome on the show, Omer.
Thank you for having me, Umair.
So why don't you take the lead and start? Tell us about yourself, your background, how did you come up with the idea and the team and so on?
Yeah, sure. So before we get into PostEx, let me give a little bit background about myself.
Sure.
Before I got into professional studies or professional career, I was playing professional football for Pakistan under 21, Pakistan under 23. So I was a professional football player for around 2 years. And then I moved to London.
And these are the years?
2009 to 11.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I moved to London for my chartered accountancy. So I did my ICAEW there and ACCA.
So you thought about joining a club over there in England?
No, not really. No, because the purpose of moving there was actually to pursue my chartered accountancy. Because I was playing football here a lot, and that's the reason why I didn't go to university, because I got into chartered accountancy directly after my intermediate. And then my parents were like, you have to pursue a professional career as compared to being a sportsman.
So which position were you playing?
I was playing central midfield.
Okay, central midfield.
Yeah.
So I mean, professional football is a very big sport all across the globe, especially in Europe. Pakistan, unfortunately, us tarah se nahi hai, but chalo.
Yeah, but because when you pass certain age, it's really hard for you to get into the system.
Correct.
If you are in the system, it's easier for you to go up.
If you are part of their academy and all that system.
Right. Once you cross that age, once you cross the age of 16, or maybe now you cross the age of 8, it's really hard for you to get into their system, into their academies and professional circuit. So if you're not able to do that, it's really hard for you to actually start a career when you go there, when you're 19 or 20 or 23. So that was my case. When I think I went there when I was around 22, 23. And then started my chartered accountancy there, completed that in 2.5 years.
And we'll come to that. Why didn't professional football is kind of taking off in Pakistan, and what will it take to, I mean, now that you are doing PostEx, have you thought about creating a professional football league or something like that? I mean, it could have even be a bigger player.
No, PostEx is just a startup who has just, started their operations, started their growth, So we're not there yet to actually take actions like this, but the reason why it's not growing is because of the infrastructure. The infrastructure is not here. The money is not flowing in, and the only way for a sport to grow.
It's an amateur football over here. It's not a professional football.
There were a lot of politics, and then there was a lot of nepotism. And when you have that kind of culture in that kind of sport, you can't really grow as a nation. So
you went to UK for your chartered accountancy, then?
Yeah, then I moved back to Pakistan, did my training with Ernst & Young, spent 3 years here, and then I moved to Dubai.
And these are years?
14 to 17.
Okay. My brother did actually his articles from Ernst & Young, but I think that he did it prior to you.
Okay, so it was like 14 to 16 late 16, early 17. And then I moved to Dubai, worked with few capital investment firms there, worked with EMPG Group, which is Bayou, Zameen. And then
in what capacity?
So I was working as a sales consultant or taking care of their client relations.
So you did chartered accountancy, did articles in accounts and finance, and moved to sales.
So most of my career has been in sales. Even when I was, after my Ernst & Young time, when I moved to Dubai, I was doing financial sales. And then I had a very good opportunity to work with the EMPG Group, where I learned a lot about sales, how to manage teams, how to run, campaigns with those kind of teams. And it was a very good experience.
Sales campaigns, you mean?
Sales, like sales teams.
Sales teams,
right. So different campaigns, different strategies, how to implement them, how to win the market, how to beat the competitors. So I remember that Bayou, when I was there, Bayou reached to the top. They were the #1 property portal at that time, and they beat Property Finder there. Property Finder was in the market for around 10 years, and they came in around 16 or 17, and they picked up, and they were the #1 property portal by 2020. And 2019, 2020, So after that, I moved back to Pakistan to pursue PostEx. The idea came from a very basic need that, because I'm from a financial background, sorry, a lot of my friends who were doing e-commerce would reach out to me with the working capital issues. They were not able to maintain cash flows. I mean, we both know that businesses can survive losses, but they cannot survive negative cash flows.
Right.
Yeah. So I started looking at the books, which were not really that maintained or sophisticated, but it was really easy for me to find out that the problem was in each transaction around cash on delivery. Meaning that if you place an order today, it was taking them around 10-15 days to get the cash for that specific order.
Okay.
So the cash cycle was 10 to 15 days, meaning that if they're able to sell their inventory today, they would have
they
to
will not be able to get any cash like in 30 days or
yes,
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was slowing them down. Not just those e-commerce businesses, but overall e-commerce ecosystem of Pakistan. Yeah. So we decided to come up with a solution. So I sat down with other co-founders, Babar, Saad, and Adil.
You have 4 co-founders?
We have 4 co-founders,
okay.
Yes. We sat down, we said that, okay, this is the idea. How do we solve this? How do we solve this problem?
So you were trying to solve the problem of large receivable cycle in the e-commerce industry.
Leading to working capital issues.
Working capital issues,
yeah.
Okay.
So we sat down, we said that we dig deeper into the problem, and the problem was that, there was a transit of around 4 to 5 days. Then the courier companies would collect the cash from the consumer, they would hold the cash.
They'll try to enjoy something on float and before giving it to you.
I wouldn't say that, but the systems are a bit old. Let's just say that they're delivering a product in Sahiwal, or because I'm from Sahiwal, that's why I'm saying Sahiwal.
Sure.
So Sahiwal, then the cash is being collected there. They will bring the cash back to their hub in Sahiwal. They will have to transfer those funds to their head office. Now, all that time, they can't really settle the merchant, because they have to wait for the reconciliation to come in. They have to wait for the cash to come in. So it's just the whole, system which was slowing these things down. I wouldn't say that they were sitting on the cash.
Okay.
I mean, like,
even if they do, that's part of their, it could be part of their business strategy.
Could be. That's their business model,
Right.
So we said that, okay, the problem is there, we have to solve the problem. So the one solution that we came up was that we have to pay upfront.
Okay.
When somebody places an order online, what we can do is these products are being delivered. We know that these products are being delivered. There's a certain percentage that comes back as returns. It's not like 100% of those orders are coming back. So if we know what percentage is coming back, what we can do is we can do the receivable factoring of those orders. We can give them cash upfront, and that will help them keep their operations run smoothly. That would give them enough cash to run their operations smoothly, to keep the inventory levels up to the mark, and keep meeting the requirements of their customers.
Right.
So, but the problem with that was
it's like financing their purchase orders with their own money, kind of.
Receivable factoring, yes.
Yeah.
So it's receivable factoring, but the problem with this, just with this idea, is that we're not really solving the problem, or we're just solving the problem around working capital for their requirements, but we're just transferring their problems to us.
Right.
We're not really solving a problem, because then our cash is being stuck in the transaction for 10 days or 15 days, and then we have.
You're financing their delivery.
We're financing their, yeah. And our dependency would be on third-party logistics who's delivering the products for them, and then we have to wait for them to give us the money. And being a startup, you can't really wait 10-15 days for your cash to be with somebody else, or to be stuck in the whole transaction. Okay. So we said that, okay, the best way to do it is that if we take care of the logistics ourselves.
Okay.
So if we're giving you cash today, we're able to deliver the products within 24 hours or within 48 hours. We collect our cash, and then we deposit that into our bank accounts, and then we reuse those funds. So that was the best way and the most efficient way.
But creating a logistic company versus a financing company are two different ball games, and if creating a logistic company is kind of a much bigger beast in terms of actual management and all that compared to financial company.
Yeah, but we were not creating two companies. We were creating one company, which was those both services that were complementing each other. So the idea was to build one company, and it still is to build one company which is providing both. So if you're doing the logistics efficiently,
but now primarily you're into logistic business, not the financing business of a business.
No, I wouldn't say that. No.
Okay.
Because that's not true. Our focus and our core is to solve two problems for e-commerce.
Okay.
When you look at the e-commerce, the biggest problem for them is logistics, around logistics, returns, fake attempts, cash flow issues. And the other problem is the cash flow issues, is the one that I've just mentioned, that, their inability to access capital.
Okay.
They can't really go to the banks and ask for money. You know, they can't really go to the banks and ask for loans because these are e-commerce platforms. They don't have anything to pledge. They don't have anything to put as a collateral to get the loans. And if they try to get the loans, these are personal loans for the sole proprietors or for individuals. And
involving their own personal liability.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So the two problems are still there. You know, that they're not able to access the capital. And when they talk about the logistics, there are certain inefficiencies in the system which is slowing down the whole operations, which is slowing down, and the effects are showing up on their growth.
Okay.
So we want to solve both problems with one solution.
Okay.
So initially, the solution was that we go in, we pay them upfront, and we collect the cash on their behalf, and that cash would be ours. And when we're paying them upfront, we charge them a certain commission for that.
Sure.
Yeah. So we don't really charge them based on the size, weight, volume. So when you say logistics, these are the fundamentals of logistics. Right. That they charge you based on the size, weight, volume of the product.
Right.
But we don't. So we don't charge them based on the size, weight, volume. We just charge them a certain percentage, just like any other bank would charge them or any other fintech would charge them. And the pricing structure is around the certain percentage of the COD value.
Okay.
Because that's what we're facilitating.
So let's assume I'm an e-commerce business who's doing let's say who's sending out USBs, and the price of USB is like 500.
Yeah.
So you factor that in, and you charge 30 rupees for USB and use these 30 rupees as your margin, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm a business that is on the other side of the spectrum sending out furniture, it's a business that deals in volume or volume weight, then probably it's 80,000 worth of bed, probably you'll charge them 85,000 and you'll keep the 5,000 on top. Is this your business model? But you'll take care of the shipping stuff from point A to point B.
Yeah, and for us it's very important because when we're doing the receivable factoring, if we're doing the logistics ourselves, we have the control of the transaction. Every transaction is backed by the asset itself, in simple words.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So if you're not doing the logistics, our dependency for not just for the collection of cash, but for securing the whole transaction.
Because actually you have collected the order, which means you already have a collateral.
Yes, we have the collateral. We have the product in hand, and then when we're delivering the product, we get our cash back.
Okay.
And that's the reason why we don't give 100% upfront. We give a certain percentage upfront, keeping in mind the return rate, keeping in mind what kind of product this is selling, and based on those metrics and few other metrics, we risk profile that business, and based on that, we say that, okay, this is the percentage we're going to give you upfront, and this is on the day of delivery.
So are you building it could be your trade secret for now, but are you building your own logistic machinery, or you're piggybacking on logistic companies and right now just solving this upfront payment problem?
No, piggybacking as in that if you're using them? No, we're not using them. We have our own fleet.
Okay.
We are using our own fleet, we're using our own systems. You see, we're not trying to reinvent logistics.
Right.
Logistics has been done and they're doing a pretty good job. There are a lot of companies that has been able to pick up the e-commerce and bring it where it is right now because of those logistics companies, So we can't take away that credit from them. But we're not trying to reinvent the logistics. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make it more transparent.
Sure.
We're trying to make it more efficient by putting in control.
So it's similar to what e-commerce express or delivery in our neighboring countries doing?
They have the transparency, they know where the product is, they know how long it's going to take to get delivered, and when we commit them something, we make sure that we meet those requirements.
Sure.
And that's how we're making it more efficient, more seamless, more transparent for them, so that they have the control. They feel like they have the control over the whole transaction.
Sure. So Umair, tell us about your founding team. You're four co-founders. So how you guys are complementing each other? How you are kind of different? And is it one too many, or are you fine with the number?
No, we're very happy with the number, and if you meet four of us, we are very different from each other. The blind spots for me are being covered by all three of them, and their blind sides are covered by the other three. So that's how we complement each other.
So how the responsibilities are divided?
So Babar is taking care of the tech. He was a managing consultant at Systems before he joined us. He was a solutions architect for EasyPesa as well.
Okay.
He's taking care of the tech. He knows everything inside out about how the technology works and how we want to make it more efficient, how it can help our mission, because we all have the same mission. Adil is ex-Kareem. He was head of client relations for them in Dubai. He's taking care of the experience. How do we create an experience? Because it's not just about picking up the product and delivering it. How do we create an experience that the consumer and the business both remembers that that they use a service. That they were provided a service, not just for sake of being provided a service, but they remember us by the difference of experience we have created for them. And Saad is taking care of operations. I've known Saad for around 15 years, Adil around 7, and Baba around 4 to 5 years.
Tell us about the funding. How did you go about raising money, and how it happened, how much you have raised, which round you are in, and what are the next steps?
So we ran the MVP in 2020.
Okay.
And then Baba and Adil joined us in December.
And I missed the boat on investing in you guys, right? Okay.
Inshallah,
probably
you can come in
the next round.
Yeah, inshallah.
Okay.
So Adil and Baba joined us in December 2020. That's where we actually needed somebody to build the tech, because we ran the MVP, we were doing everything manually. We just wanted to see if the product need is there, because we're not building a product and then trying to evolve the market or change the market as per our product.
So you're trying to do a product market fit.
Yes, we're evolving the product as per the requirements of the market.
Sure.
Because when you see our product, you're not going to find that kind of product anywhere else in the world.
Okay.
And that became a challenge for us when we were raising the round as well, because everybody was looking for comparables. Everybody was looking for that. Is it being done somewhere else? And when you say no, then they question the whole business model, financial model. That then what makes you think it's going to be successful here?
Right.
But we need to understand that Pakistani market is huge. And there has to be, and there will be, products or startups that are going to serve this market, and we have to serve this market. So they joined in 2020 December, and then we built the tech in the first 3 months, and by April we were ready to go into the market. We were bootstrapping until then. When we went live in April, we alhamdulillah grew very fast. We were not anticipating that kind of hyper growth, and because of that, because we do the financing, we knew that if we kept growing like this, we would have cash flow issues, because we would not be able to meet the requirements of the clients that we are onboarding.
Sure.
So we knew that this is the time when we go out and raise funds, and then we went out, raised funds. Faisal Aftab was the first one to back us. Faisal Aftab has been in touch since we launched, since we were running the MVP. He backed us. He was somebody who validated the idea for us, like this is the need. You have to keep pushing, you have to keep working on it. Because when you're a first-time entrepreneur or first-time founder, there are a lot of things that goes in your mind, and then you're like, but even though I never had any doubts, but he was somebody who was validating the idea. He was validating the market for us, that the market is huge. You have to keep pushing. You have to implement this. You have to execute this. And he was the first one to back us as well. And he did a lot of introductions. There were a lot of other VCs who helped us, gave us a lot of constructive feedback, which actually helped us evolve the product, because it was not just overnight that we open the round and it's closed, because you go out for a pre-seed, you try to raise a pre-seed, because we didn't raise the pre-seed. Technically, we went for the seed directly, and the pre-seed was where we learned, from the constructive feedback from the VCs, that how to make the business more defensible, where are we going to be left behind if we don't work on those things, and that's exactly what we did. We tried to work on those things, made it better.
So how much you raised in seed round? Is this a public information?
Yeah, it's 8.6.
8.6 million.
Yeah.
Okay, and part of it is going to finance the transaction, and part of it's going to build a logistic machinery, right? And are you now on Series A or what?
We will be, inshallah. The next round will be Series A. Inshallah.
Series A. Yeah. Okay. So when did you raise your seed? Back in?
Seed was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
That's
like a month ago. Yeah.
We discussed about that. Okay. So tell and where your operations are right now primarily is in Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad.
Yeah. So we're based in Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, and Pindi.
Karachi, Lahore,
and Faisalabad as well. Yeah.
Okay. But delivery can happen from anywhere to anywhere. So how you're structuring it?
So right now we are doing deliveries in 3 cities. We're doing the pickups in these 3 cities, and we're delivering in these 3 cities.
So I can deliver from Karachi to Lahore, Lahore to Lahore, Lahore to Islamabad, so on. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And how's the traction? Tell us more about that traction, how it is going.
Traction, alhamdulillah, very good. Like even if you look at our track record of raising funds, first round was $1.5 million, which was the first seed, and then it was extended to 8.6 because during the time we closed the round, we had 300% growth. And then we knew that, okay, inshallah, we will keep growing like this. We have to make sure that we have the infrastructure for that, because it's not just about raising funds, it's about executing with those funds as well. And we showed that with the little that we had raised or we had saved until then. And then with that execution, it was very easy for us to close a bigger round. Which
okay. Is the valuation also public or not?
No, valuation is not public.
Valuation is not public. Okay. So with this money in your bank, are you looking up to consolidate or expand business within these cities, or open more cities?
Definitely more cities. Definitely. We want to go into more cities because we want to serve the e-commerce. The idea is to help these e-commerce platforms or to e-commerce of Pakistan to grow.
Okay.
Because if you look at our products, we are the only startup in Pakistan that is providing advance payments on COD orders by cutting the courier cost as well. It's not just that we are adding cost to their courier.
So is there a standard way of calculating what you're going to charge on a COD order? Or, I mean, let's say, can I predict that I'm sending a 40,000 shipment through you, so it's 10%? Is it a percentage number, or you calculate it through some other way?
So there's a model for this.
Okay.
Which includes the average ticket size of that business, what kind of products is it selling, who they're selling it to, how long have they been selling, and what kind of, is it a niche or is it a marketplace, who do they sell to demographically, geographically, there are a few other factors that we look at, the growth, and then we decide that, what kind of commission we're going to charge them, what kind of risks are involved, because with high risk, we have charge higher commissions, and with lower risk we go for the lower commissions.
Sure. So just being new and fast and nimble, that's a unique advantage in itself. But let's say tomorrow the big giants want to come into the same business. I had worked with them before. I feel that they may not ever, but still, let's say the big delivery giants come into this business and try to start eating up your space, because at the end of the day, these big delivery giants, they feel, यार क्या है, क्या app ही तो बनाई है बच्चों ने, ऐसे ही है. So what's your defense against them? Or you think they have too much of inertia?
No. I mean, I would want them to come into this because you can't really disrupt the market all alone. We're trying to change the market. We're trying to change it for good. Who is going to benefit from it? It's not just about us. If they start paying upfront for all the orders, who do you think is going to benefit the most? It's the e-commerce platforms. They're,
which will in turn generate more e-commerce.
Yes. The ecosystem
but so you're not into that model, but a lot of there's a crazy funding going on into the instant delivery models.
Yeah.
And route to profitability, I don't seem to see one के कैसे होगा ना, because contribution margin positive होती नहीं है चीज़ें. So you are not into that market, right? You are into kind of hardcore shift based, या जिस इस तरह की logistics में हो कि जो time इतनी sensitive नहीं है, instant delivery type की उसमें नहीं हो, right? So you'll keep it that way, right?
We have to improve. Because when we look at the fintech side of our business, we are improving that as well. We are building more and more products. We are building more and more products which are going to provide more and more capital to e-commerce. From fintech point of view, we're doing that. From logistics point of view, we're doing the same, because we're not a logistics company like purely a logistics company. We're a hybrid, so we have to make sure that there's a balance. So if you're investing on the logistics, we're investing on the fintech as well. There are new products that we're launching, which you'll see very soon, that how they're going to help the e-commerce grow. And if we talk about the logistics, yes, we have to improve the logistics. If we are doing 24 hours right now, we want to do 6 hours. We want to do 4 hours. We want to do same day. If we're doing 48 hours for Karachi, Karachi, Lahore to Karachi, we want to turn into 24 hours. So there is always room for improvement, and we're not just gonna sit and be okay with because everything is being done this way, or everybody else is doing this way. We're not in this to accept the way things are being done. We're in this to change the way things are being done.
Okay.
And that's the only way. And the only way to do it is if we keep pushing ourselves, and we have to push ourselves to do better. We have to push ourselves to innovate or improve the service level, improve the time of delivery, and these kind of things are always.
So you do not have right now any competitor which is doing a similar business model as yours right now?
But
they will come.
They will come. Inshallah, they will come, and
that's good for ecosystem.
Yeah, it is, because they can. Again, that's how you disrupt the market. Right. दूसरी साइड पे ये कि we do have competitors. when देखें, competitors को देखने का एक तरीका ये है कि whose market share are we going after,
Right.
Or in simple words, I don't look at it as competitors. I look at it as a market that we're trying to beat. We're not trying to beat the competitors. We're trying to beat the market. We're trying to change the market.
Right.
And when you talk about the market, there are two markets that we're targeting. One is the legacy logistics, and the other one is conventional banking. When you're providing capital to SMEs, or when you're providing capital to e-commerce, technically you're competing with the banks. And that market, we're trying to beat that market.
Sure.
And when you talk about logistics, we're trying to provide transparency and efficiency around logistics. And that's where we are competing with the logistics market. So
if I have to look at something like you in any other market, what is the closest example that should come to our mind?
For logistics, you'll find a lot of those startups. For our fintech side, you'll see a lot of startups like ClearCo, which are, targeting just e-commerce, providing them capital, helping them grow. You can see Pipe, you can see Wayflyer, so they're both sides of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. 6 months, 12 months, क्या goals हैं? इससे ज़्यादा startup 6 months भी कई दफ़ा बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं.
Goal as in?
मतलब कहाँ पे पहुँच रहे हो? Traction क्या देख रहे हो?
In next 6 to 12 months, we want to be. So by the end of 2022, we want to be among the top 3 logistics providers in volumes. And from the banking point of view, or for the fintech point of view, we want to be the first and last, source of capital for e-commerce.
Okay, great. Or how big is your team right now?
So including the fleet, we are over 400 people, alhamdulillah. But if you talk about, just the operational side, we're around 100 people.
Great. So Omer, great story so far. All the best wishes, and hope you guys keep growing and can serve and build this ecosystem along with all of us. So great work. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for your kind words.